Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. What's going on here today then? We all know the Chinese have been the masters of reverse engineering, shall we say, for at least the last 70 years. They have a proud tradition of taking an object, breaking it down into its component parts and making a cheaper, but inevitably not as good domestic version. Today we see that manifest itself in the world of watches with fake watches that are scarily close to the originals for a fraction of the cost. Of course, on this channel I do not condone the purchase or ownership of fake watches. I just don't understand the logic of them. You're wearing a lie and it really is only a matter of time before that lie is exposed. Homage watches, on the other hand, you know I have no such problem with. It's a great place to start in watches with the looks of the big brands, again for a small percentage of the cost, but without the lie. You don't buy a Homage watch to lie. You buy a Homage to pay tribute to a design, but without the cost or the risk of the original. And I have reviewed, I genuinely don't know how many Homages I have reviewed. It must be at least 80 by now. Watches that look a lot like Rolex, Omega, Tudor, or even Seiko, but with a different brand name on the dial. But have I uncovered a reverse Homage situation where a big Japanese brand copies a small Chinese brand and not the other way around? Well, when I say I actually got an email from a subscriber called Mark earlier this year, and he told me he had spotted a certain Citizen in his local high street jeweler in the UK and instantly recognised the design as being, to all intents and purposes, the same as his CADISEN C1032. We had a back and forth and he told me it looked like the Citizens that were for sale on Chrono24 were dated 2021 year of production. Now, I had first bought and reviewed the CADISEN C1032 back in October 2018. So just how similar are these two watches? Is it possible that Citizen had copied CADISEN? Does everything we know about the way of the world therefore now crumble to dust? Let's flip the camera and find out. Alright, so what I thought I'd do today is I'd start by showing you the two watches side by side because yes, I don't think there's much doubt. Somebody has copied somebody else's homework, but who has been copying whom? That is the question that I'm going to attempt to answer today. So we'll have a look at the two of them side by side, have a look at their various features, then have a look at them individually, how much I paid for them, where I got them from, the basic specs and dimensions, and then using a fairly non-scientific, fairly non-forensic Google search, I'm going to see if I can establish which of these two watches existed, at least on Google, before the other one. As I said in the intro, CADISEN I bought and reviewed initially back in October 2018, so let's see how far back I can find information on the CADISEN. Citizen, definitely a 2021 year of production, the one that I bought from Chrono24, as I'll discuss in just a minute or two. How far back does that design go? Can we say which of these watches came first, which is the chicken, and which is the egg? I think what we can say with confidence today though is that they are definitely closely related. I mean, just look at those things. The Citizen clearly has a more elaborate sunburst effect on the dial and it's a paler grey than the rather dull matte black of the CADISEN, but I mean, come on. Applied arrowhead indices in high polished silver on both watches, just the single Roman, the 12 on both watches, Dauphine hands and a day-date complication with frame on both watches, and the same two lines of white text, the brand name above the pinion and either Eco Drive or automatic, depending on which movement they've got in them, above the index at 6. Again on both watches. Even the crowns are almost identical. Now the bracelets are similar but slightly different. They're both 3-link style. The Citizen though features more brushed surfaces than the CADISEN. The CADISEN is all high polished and ultra shiny as a consequence. There are material differences between the two, as I'll discuss, but design wise they're almost the same. Somebody's been at the photocopier. Was it Citizen or was it CADISEN? Now, if you've been a viewer of the channel for some time, you know I'm a big fan of this CADISEN. It was one of the first big AliExpress Chinese specials that I picked up back in 2018 that blew my mind in terms of the value that it offered. CADISEN official store on AliExpress for these ones these days, they've gone up a little bit in price. It says $70 odd here, but there's a $10 voucher which brings it down to low 60s. If you wait for a sale, they come in at mid 50s. Phenomenal value considering the specs on offer. All stainless steel here, push-pull crown, 50 meters of water resistance, which is okay. Sapphire crystal though is a massive boon, as is the Seiko NH36 day-date Complication. That makes such a great choice as a daily. Not particularly accurate though, cheap automatic, -20 to +40 seconds per day variance. But a great set of proportions on this one. It's a 40-20, so 40mm diameter, 20mm lug width, just about 12mm thick because of the automatic movement, and about 120 grams sized up for my 7-inch wrist. Now this one is all shiny, all stainless. The bracelet has solid links, solid end links, but they are all high polished, and it features a butterfly clasp. I tend to wear my CADISEN C1032s because I have the silver dialed one as well. I tend to wear them on leather straps. I think that takes some of the shininess away and takes a little bit of the weight away, adding comfort as well. I've always been a fan of this one because of the sapphire, because of the Seiko, because of the $60-odd price tag, and because I thought it was a really nice, clean, original design. Was I wrong? Well, if you have a look at this Citizen, perhaps I was wrong. Now, I bought this one from Chrono24. Would you believe it? This is the first watch that I've ever bought from Chrono24. I tended to associate it with high-end luxury stuff, but there's plenty of bargains, plenty of budget watches out there as well. I picked this one up from a vendor in Italy for about 160 Aussie dollars delivered. That's about 110 US dollars, so it's coming in at about $50 more than the CADISEN. Now, I think the Citizen is a much more dynamic, much more interesting watch to look at because of that really strong pronounced sunburst effect in the dial. I cannot remember the last time I saw a dial that popped in terms of the sunburst more than this one. Perhaps that'll be too much for some people though, but it's certainly more interesting than the rather drab CADISEN by comparison. Now you get 100 meters of water resistance, double that of the CADISEN, but you only get mineral crystal. It's a bigger watch as well, 42mm with a 21mm lug width, thanks for that Citizen, but a similar 120 gram weight. The bracelet is polished in the middle, brushed on the outer edges, but it is cheaper manufactured. It's got hollow end links, hollow links. It does have a press clasp though, with micro adjustability, unlike the CADISEN where you just have a butterfly with no adjustment at all. The Eco Drive movement is an E101, 6 months charge when fully loaded. You get a low battery indicator, the second hand will tick every 2 seconds. You get 4 days of low battery indicator, stick it on your window ledge, get some juice in there before it stops entirely. Being Eco Drive, you shouldn't have to maintain this one often, if at all either. And it's so much more accurate than an auto, plus or minus 15 seconds per month, so it loses or gains less time in a month than the CADISEN gains or loses in a day. So the Citizen is bigger, blingier, and has double the water resistance, but it only gets a mineral crystal and a quartz movement rather than the sapphire and the automatic of the rather home brand CADISEN by comparison. But which one's the chicken, which one's the egg? Let's head to Google and try and find out. I'm not sure this would hold up in a court of law as evidence, but it's good enough for me today. So CADISEN C1032 custom time range. As I said, I reviewed it in October 2018. Let's have a look, see if we can find other listings of this watch on Google from earlier in 2018. Look, there's mine, 6th of October 2018, my original review of the watch. Let's go back and try 2017 therefore, see if there's a bit more information that way. Yeah, slim pickings, but there are still some. There's one from the 11th of November 2017. Let's see if we can go back and find something from 2016 perhaps therefore. Oh, it's getting thin on the ground. There's only one from the 6th of August 2016. It's actually what looks like a check listing on AliExpress. That is the earliest I could find. There was nothing from 2015 or backwards. So CADISEN C1032 has existed from 6th of August 2016 according to Google. Let's check the Citizen. Yes, let's. I just put in the model number for the Citizen and yeah, no shortage of references for the current model year. As I said, mine is a 2021 and again there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of web entries for 2021. Let's go back to 2020. Again, no shortage of them. There's one from July. Let's go back to 2019 and once more, no shortage of reference from 2019. There's one from mid-April. This is getting close then. Let's go back to 2018. That's the first year that I encountered the CADISEN, and yes, there are plenty of references to this Citizen then. Back to 17, yep, there's one from November, there's one from May. Let's go back then to 2016. Let's see if this watch is indeed the original, and there's one from April 2016. That means that this is older than the CADISEN. It looks like I have been wronging Citizen for the last couple of years when I claimed that the CADISEN was original. Back to 2015, let's take it all the way back to 2014. Now, I did manage to find one single reference to this model of Citizen from a watch shop in the UK, December 2014. That means we can say with a degree of confidence that the Citizen has existed since at least the 4th of December 2014. Put them side by side, Citizen December 2014, CADISEN August 2016. I'm sorry Citizen, it looks like you were the original and it was CADISEN that copied your homework and not the other way around as I had suspected. Yes indeed, how could one who is normally so cynical be so naive in this particular case? The Citizen is the original watch, the CADISEN is the homage/copy. Not a bad thing though necessarily. They have slightly reformatted it, they've put it in a smaller case and they've halved the price whilst adding sapphire crystal and a Seiko automatic movement, but I've been giving them props for something that they didn't deserve the props for, originality, when there is none at all in this model. So thank you Mark for that original email that prompted this video, thank you to the Italian vendor who was only too happy to sell me one of those Citizens, and thanks to all of you for watching me waste my money when I should have just checked Google in the first place. So there you have it, I really should have known better. It looks highly unlikely that Citizen copied CADISEN and looks far more likely that CADISEN copied Citizen. Oh well, sorry again Citizen. If you don't care about that, then you really should look at my original review of the CADISEN. Or if you want a cheap Chinese watch with an original design, until proven otherwise, check out the Guanqin GJ16034. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.